So hi everyone. So yesterday we have created a find employee API and update employee API, right? So now, so let me start the server. We'll see. We'll quick look. So how our APIs are working. Let me start the server. Server started successfully. So now let me open H2 console, H2 database, login as admin, go to employee, run. So right now we don't have any records, right? So let me open Postman. So here, so let me create few users. So what is the API to create employee? So create employee is the API to create user. So create user, and what is the HTTP request method? It should be post, and I am passing uh, ID Tendulkar 1. Okay, so user is created and it's added. So let me add another guy to Rohit Sharma. Okay, so let me mobile number same as is Sharma. So created. So how many it's created? Uh, Two users are created. Let me create another user. Mm, Kohil. Okay. Make sure when you are creating Kohli. Okay. Let me put Virat. Okay. Virat Kohli. So user number 3. So let me fetch all the users. So 3 employees I have created. What is the API to find all employees? Find all employees. You can see employee 1 Tendulkar, employee 2 Rohit Sharma, employee 3 Virat Kohli. So total 3 employees we have created. So now, so how to find specific employee? So what is the API we have created to find the employee? This is the employee. This is the URL. Find employee URL. So go to browser and then search it. So now enter find employee. So why it is giving error? So find employee method needed input, right, to find the employee. So whether you can use this method or this method. So get mapping I'm going to use. So you need to pass path variable. So now let me find employee number 2. So employee number 2 is Rohit Sharma. So we are able to find successfully. So similarly, I want to check 3. So Virat Kohli also able to find. So next, what other APIs we have created? We have created update employee. So how to update an employee? So let me go to Postman, and then you have to call that API, right? Update employee. So to update the employee, what is the HTTP request method? Put method. So let me update Virat Kohli. So Virat Kohli mobile number. So what is the mobile number of Virat Kohli? This is the one, right? So now instead of that, I want to update with another number, mobile number. I am going to update mobile number. Virat Kohli's mobile number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let me update it. Update employee. So response I got from the server. So it is updated. So how we can confirm? So you just need to Fetch again. You can see Virat Kohli's mobile number is updated. Virat Kohli mobile number is updated. So next, what other APIs we have created? So now, we have create employee API is created. Find by ID, right? Find by employee ID. So now let me create API to delete employee. So to delete employee, so what we need to write? So we need to go to JDBC repository, employee JDBC repository, and then we need to write a database logic to delete the employee. So let me write the code. Public void public void, and what is the method name? Delete employee. So delete employees. So to delete employees, what we need, what we have to pass? So as part of input, so let me pass long employee ID. So based on the employee ID, we are going to uh, delete the employee, right? So let me know. So how we can delete the employee? So there is a method, right? Update method can do insert, update and delete. Update method can do insert, update and delete. You can see update method. JDBC template is having update method which can insert, which can update, and which can delete. Right? So now let me write return. So JDBC, no need to return. So since it is a void type, let me JDBC template dot update. Then what we need to pass? First we need to pass delete query, right? Delete employee query. So we already written delete query for to delete the employee. You can see delete from employee where ID is equal to question mark. So you just need to pass query as part of first argument. What is the second argument? So to delete, so what we need to pass? Employee ID as part of argument. That's it. So now we passed the query as part of update method, and we have given input employee ID to delete that employee. So if you want to confirm whether a user is deleted or not, let me return integer to confirm that user is deleted. Okay, so now database logic is done. So now what we need to write? Next, we need to call this repository layer from service layer, right? So go to service layer. So there is a method delete employee. So delete employee should have argument, right? So we need to pass input to the delete employee method to delete the employee. So let me add it. So where we can add? So we need to update in interface as well. So in delete employee, let me integer, let me pass integer or long. Let me long, because since it is employee ID is long, right? So I'm passing long employee ID. So this we need to override it in IMPL. Long employee ID. That's it. So now from here we need to call repository layer employee JDBC repository dot delete employee. So what we need to pass? Employee ID. That's it. Very easy. So why it is giving error? It is returning. So this method is returning whether employee is deleted or not, right? So let me go and change method definition. Let me change the method definition to integer to make sure employee is deleted or not too. So now go there, integer. So this method also we need to give it as a integer. That's it. So now business logic is ready in employee service. So now what we need to write? So we have to call this service method from controller. Let me go to the controller now. So here we need to write the API, we need to write API to delete the employee. So how we can write the API? You have to write the function public. So it will return integer. And what is the method name I can give? Delete employee. Delete employee. So delete employee method should have as part of path variable, I am going to delete. So let me pass as part of path variable and then long employee ID. That's it. So now we need, why this giving error? So we have to return this method must return the value. So from here we can call service method, right? So return employee service dot delete employee. So if you want to find what are the methods available in service layer, how we can do that? So employee object dot control space employee object dot, if you the moment you mention dot after the employee object control space you do, you can see all the methods which are available in service method, including these methods are coming from object superclass object, right? For each and every class object is the superclass. So what all the methods are having object method, so these methods also you are able to see here. So along with that, our service class methods, you can see delete, update, create, whichever you want you can call. So here we are going to call employee, delete employee method. So let me call delete employee. So we are passing employee ID. So I have written the function. So what we need to do, we have to give specific name, API name to delete the employee, right? To invoke the API, so we have to specify the name. Since it is a deleting the employee, there is a annotation called delete mapping. So delete mapping. So what you can do? So just write delete employee API slash. We need to pass path variable to delete the employee. So let me write employee ID. That's it. Same name we have to give it here. So okay then. So now our delete API is successfully written. So now we just need to delete the employee. So my server is restarted again because I have modified the code. So H2 in memory database always refresh whenever server is restarting, right? So now let me open again. Let me log in. Let me log into H2 console, localhost H2 console, then log in as the admin, then connect, then click on employee and then click on run button. So as of now there is no employees. Now what do you need to do? Create the employee. Let me create the employee. So what is the API to create employee? So what is the API to create the employee? Create employee method. Let me copy that and then go to your postman and pass it here. So what is the HTTP request method? It should be post and then you need to send the request now. So Kohli is created. So let me create another employee, Sachin Tendulkar. Okay. So let me give mail ID also. Sachin. So I have created use employee 2. Let me create employee 3. So okay. Okay. So now 3 also created. So now let me find all employees which are all inserted. So you can see in database also. If you query, you can see Kohli is inserted, Sachin Tendulkar is inserted, Sehwag also inserted. So now 3 employees are there. So now how we can find? So you can find from here also, guys. Some people may have doubts. So why you are doing every time searching employees from browser? So from here also you can call find all employees, right? So let me call find all employees API and I am checking it here from postman. I'm sending from postman. So what is the HTTP request method? It should be get request. So now send the request. So this is not needed. Whenever your Find all employees, body also not needed. You just need to find all employees. So how many employees you have? You can see Virat Kohli, Sachin Tendulkar, and Virendra Sehwag. So total three employees we have. So now what we are going to do? We are going to test delete employee from database. So how many employees are there in H2 database? Three employees. So I want to delete Kohli, Virat Kohli. So what I need to do? I need to call delete employee API. So let me copy delete employee API, then go to Postman, and then you can call delete API method. So what is the HTTP request method? It should be delete. It should be delete. Why? Because we are going to delete employee. I am giving it as a delete mapping. So now, so you need to pass path variable also, right? I am going to employ. How many employees are there as of now? Three employees we have. Kohli, Sachin, and Sehwag. I want to delete Kohli. So which employee ID I need to pass? One. Kohli employee number is one. So let me send the request. So we got the successful response. We got successful response. Now what we can do? Just go to your H2 database and just again run your query. So Virat Kohli is deleted from database successfully. So let me try to delete Sachin Tendulkar also. So I'm trying to delete Sachin Tendulkar. Nice. So Sachin Tendulkar also deleted. How you can confirm? Just run the database. So you can see only Sehwag is available. So how you can confirm from Postman also you can confirm. How you can confirm? You just need to call find all employees API. So if you call find employees API, so how many employees it should return? Only one employee is available in database. Send requests. So I got the response only Sehwag. So remaining 1 and 2 I have deleted successfully. So this is how we have to write insert, update, and delete APIs by using Spring Boot JDBC, Spring Boot data JDBC. Okay, so what is the object we need to create? So the employee repository we have to create. So inside that we have to use JDBC template object. We have to create JDBC template object, and we have to define with AutoWise. So Spring Boot will create JDBC template object. Then JDBC template object is having how many methods? So to create the employee, we have a update method, and to delete the employee, to uh, update the employee. So update method is useful to do all three operations. How many operations? So insert, update, and delete. And what is the another object? So to find the employee, what is the method? Query for object. Query for object. You can see query for object. Given SQL create prepared statement, and mapping a single record, mapping a single result. So whenever you are using query for object, it will always return single employee object, and the query for list also there you can use if you want to fetch all the employees. Okay, so next update method, and that's it. Very easier. Just you need to remember how to perform database operation with JDBC template. So how you can perform database operation with Spring Boot JDBC or Spring JDBC. So you have to use JDBC template, and it has following methods. Which what are those? Update and query for object. That's it. So now this is how you have to write to perform all the code operations. That means create, update, and delete using Spring Boot data JDBC. Data JDBC we can use. This is how we can use. Okay, I think everybody now aware of it, how to insert the data with the help of Spring JDBC, right? Spring data JDBC. So now, however, so many people are asking me, share me video, share me video, share me video. Guys, so far we have done multiple examples, right? So whenever, so if I share the video, every time you will copy paste from the video. So each and every step you will go and copy and then write. So instead of that, I am sharing you source code. So if I am sharing you source code, and I am what you can know, you know now, you know how to debug the each API, and how to write the API, and how to call a service layer, and you know how to call repository layer, right? So you know how to call repository layer, and how to create repository layer, and how to call service layer from controller, and how to write controller also, you know, everybody knows, right? So you just need to understand, that's it. Go to this API, and once I share the source code today, what we have done, we just created the delete API. Just you just need to import this project, and immediately you have to check delete API. What you have done, make it note in your notebook. What we have done today, delete API we have written, right? So then just go to someone is typing on screen. If you miss class, will be helpful, sir. So someone is saying, so if you miss the class, yeah, if you miss the class also, if you miss the class, I will share you the recording at the end of the uh, session only. Why? Because most of the people are sharing the video to in the group itself. That is the reason I don't want to share the videos, guys. Seriously, okay. So if you want, you can continue. If you don't want, you can leave. I don't have any issues. Okay. So you must attend the class. Okay. So now, only who are all working in companies, for them only I am sharing the recorded sessions. Okay, so now here, so delete employee. So how we can debug? Just go open your Eclipse, and then go to delete employee. Just how we can debug? Go to delete employee. So after that, it will go to service class, right? So from here, you can go to delete employee. Just open, go to implementation of JDBC repository. That's it. So you know how to delete the employee. That's it. This is how you have to debug, and you know how I am going to delete for employee with the help of update method. And if you want to notes, so some people may ask, sir, how we can know the notes and all. So if you, what are all the methods you have used? So what you can, if you want to know about JDBC template, how do you know? Just put cursor here. Just to put cursor on top of JDBC template, you can make it note. So you have enough notes here. If you want to prepare, you can make it note in your notebook. So you have textbook, right? So sorry, in notebook, you can keep it with your notebook with you and make it note. So what JDBC template will do? So you just put cursor, and what JDBC will do? It simplifies use of JDBC and helps to avoid common errors, and it executes core JDBC workflow. It executes core JDBC workflow. JDBC in the sense Java database connectivity. So like that, and leaving this application code, provide SQL and extract the results, and the class executes SQL queries or update initializing in interaction over result sets, right? So you can everything, all the information you have here clearly. And if you want to know what is the use of update method, put cursor here. You have notes here. You can check. See, you can check. So what we can do with update method? So we can such as insert, update, and delete. So we can do three operations using update method. What we can do with query object? You just need to know. This is best way to learning here. This is best way to learning programming. Okay. So now here, so while writing code itself, you can learn here. So you no need code at all. So you can directly go here, or you can see what is the use of uh, query for object method. You can see it will return single object, leaving for, you can see objects, which indicates that not only argument value, also SQL type and operation scale. So what did that mean? Here you can see it will return the single mapped object. So maybe null if the given row mapper is return null. So it will always return single row. Query given SQL to create prepared statement. So internally it will uses to prepared statement only. Internally it will use to fetch all the queries with the fetch, or do update operations, or whatever operation going to perform with the help of prepared statement. So and what it will return, binding the it will bind all the arguments, bind all the arguments in the sense the input which you are passing, the input which you are passing to your query for object. So this variable will bind it to your query. This input will bind to your query. So, and then mapping a single result row to result a one single result object, one single result object. How it will map? With the help of row mapper. There is a object, there is a class called row mapper. So row mapper will match. So let's say go to your H2 database. So if you see how many rows are there, so how many columns are there, so one row. So how many, this row will be mapped to row mapper. Who will map your data to your model object? Row mapper. So row mapper will map your data to your employee model object. That's it. Everything is there inside your each Java documentation is present in Eclipse itself. You can see JDBC, you can JDBC template, you can see all the details of JDBC template and rest other methods, right? So this is how we have to create employee, update employee, and delete employee. Now, so let me go to uh, Postman. So here find all employees. Let me find any one employee, guys. Let me find one more employee. So how do we can find the employee? Find with using find employee API. So let me call find employee. What you need to pass? It should be get method, and I am going to pass. How many users are there in database now? So in database we have only one user. So one Virendra Sehwag is there. One record is there. So what is his employee ID? 3. If I fetch that employee with the help of find employee API, it is able to return. So what will happen? What will happen if I search for the employee? He is not available in database. The employee who is not available in our system. So I am trying to search it. So what will happen now? Let's see. Server is returning error. Server is returning internal server error. Why? Because so whenever you are finding the results, your JDBC repository layer is there, right? So find employee. Query for object is returning exception. Query for object is returning exception. Why? Incorrect result, expected one. So that query for object always expected one row in database. You can see incorrect result size, expected one, actual zero. Actual zero in the sense the employee which you are going to search in database, he is not available. Whenever an employee is not available in database, that update method, sorry, query for object method always return exception. What is that exception? You can see what is that exception name? Internal server error. 500 is nothing but internal server error. Any exception in your application, not only this application which we have developed, any application in real world. So any exception happened in your application, server will return with internal server error. So now here you can see incorrect result size expected. So now how you can handle it? So let's say this API you have given to one customer. So who will consume this? Who will consume all the APIs? APIs are going to consume by consumer, right? Consumer. Only consumer is going to create invoke the APIs. So since I am a developer, I know what is this error. So let's think about consumer. So consumer doesn't know anything. Consumer nothing but a client. A consumer nothing but client. Let's say okay, Axis Bank. Okay, Axis Bank is trying to fetch his employee. Okay, one of the Axis Bank user, Axis Bank employee is trying to search his employee details. So he is invoking this employee details using this API. So he got this error message. So he don't know anything. What is this internal? I don't know what is this. Instead of returning my employee details, it is throwing me some exception. What is this? I don't know. So think about end user perspective in the sense the consumer who doesn't have any knowledge on these exceptions. So whenever some exceptions is occurred in our application, consumer will not understand if you return this exception. So what you have to do, you have to handle this subjection. You have to handle this exception with custom user exception. with customized user exception, right? So whenever you are searching employee who is not in the database, what kind of exception you have, what kind of message you have to show to end user? Employee not found. Because if you go to database, there is a employee. How many employees are there here right now? Only one employee. Who is that guy? Virendra Sehwag. So now what is his employee name? Employee ID 3. So here, which employee ID you are searching? Employee number 5, who is not available in database. So that time, what end user has to see? End user or consumer or client, all are same only, guys. If technically consumer, client or end user, all are technically same. So they are going to they don't know how if you return this exception to a consumer, he cannot understand what is happening in background. So you have to show custom user defined exceptions, like what in this situation, based on your requirement, you have to reply customized exceptions. So what in this case, what kind of exception we have to send to end user? User not found. What is that? User not found. If you send user not found exception or employee not found, then only a consumer or client or any end user can understand, okay, this employee is not available in database. So employee is not available in database. Okay, guys. So now we are going to handle the exceptions now. So how to handle that exception? Let me go to business logic. So where it is throwing exception. So before that, guys, no one will not teach you like this. Okay, make sure you put concentration on this. Okay, so I am going to run in debug mode now. So if you run in debug mode, who is throwing the exception? Let me show you who is throwing the exception practically. So for that, what I will do now, let me stop the server and then I will run Tomcat server in debug mode. So I am going to debug now. Who is throwing this exception? You should know who is throwing this exception. Now let's go there. This is Eclipse problem. You no need to bother about it. So now let me server is restarted, right? So we lost all the data. So let me create again. Okay, so let me create. So it will not take much time, right? Admin login. Right now we don't have any records. So how we can create the records? So by with the help of create employee, right? So create employee, then go just call that API create employee, and then what is the method to create the employee? HTTP request will be post request, right? So post request. So now, so you need to pass the data, right? So let me go to the body section. Control Z. If I do Control Z, will it come? Yes, it will come. So now, what is the request? Sorry, API create employee. Let me write here by mistake deleted. Local host colon at 0. If you want, you can save this API also with the help of save method. Okay. So I'm not saving. Okay. So now create employee post method. I'm going to create the employee Shahwag. Let me create. It's created. So oh, sorry, I have put in breakpoint, right? So let me skip that breakpoint as of now. So employee is created. One employee is created. Let me create one more employee. Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, I'm creating one more employee. So now how many employees we have totally? Two employees. So now go to your API and let me call find employee from browser. So localhost slash find employee find employee method, find employee 3. So find employee 3 is not available in database. Find employee 1 is available and 2 is available, but 3 is not available. So server is returning 500. So let me debug. You should know who is throwing this exception. You should know who is throwing this exception. Let's go and debug it. How you can debug it? so you have to put breakpoint, right? So where you have to put breakpoints, I am going to invoke find employee API when this exception occurred. When I'm invoking with the employee who is not in the database, with the help of find employee API, I'm just invoking. So find employee API is returning this exception. So if you want to debug, where you need to put the debug? Inside the find employee method. So inside the find employee method, you have to put breakpoint. So let me send the request again. So I just send the request. So my control came to my controller, and you can see from here where it will go to service. So from here it will go to your database layer. So let me go to, sorry, database layer queries. This is database layer only, right? So I'm keeping where you have to put breakpoint. So find employee method. So let me go there. Function F6 or F8. I already put breakpoint here, right? So function F8. So directly it came here. So what is this method? So control came till your database logic. Okay, control came to your database logic. So from here, who is going to throw exception? Query for object. You can see here query for object is returning your exception. I think so. Let me go there. You can see data access exception. So whenever there is no data, so it will throw related to if the query fails. If query fails, it will throw the exception, right? If query fails, it will throw the exception. So query for object is throwing exception. So let me execute again. So you can see immediately in console, in Tomcat console, query for object is returning exception. What kind of it is exception? Empty result data access exception. What is that? Empty result data access exception. Expected one, but actual zero. Expected one, but actual zero. So now what I will do? So query for object. So here we need to handle the exception. How we can handle? Now let me handle how we can handle the exception now. So try how to handle exception, guys. You have to write try and catch block followed by catch block. Try and catch, right? CATCH followed by catch block. So you people should have knowledge on how to write the how to handle exception, right? So in core Java you might have learned so how to handle exceptions with the help of try and catch block. With the help of try and catch block. So try is one block and which is followed with catch block. So here you need to call this method. Control X. Let me return null as of now. Okay. So put it here. So who is throwing exception? The method query for object is throwing exception. So that's the reason. So let me stop the server. Otherwise, it is keep on starting, right? So let me stop the server. Server stopped successfully. So the method query for object is throwing exception. So you have to keep this. You have to call this method inside try block, right? Inside try block, you have to handle the exception which is thrown by query for object. Which exception it is? Now so many people are having confusion. Sir, what I need to write inside the catch block? Some people will write exception directly. So if you write this exception class, so any exception it will return, it will come inside this. Any exception, not only related to data result set. Okay, not only result set, any exception is a null pointer exception. If your database, if you are not able to connect with the database, then that if sorry not able to connect with your table, so then also it will throw all the kind of exceptions. So how you do how to identify so what kind of exception is thrown, you don't know, right? So what is what is this exception? Empty result data accept exception. Let me copy this. Let me copy and let me handle this. Control Shift O. That's it. How you can import? Control Shift O. Sir, it is thrown it is throw, this method is returning exception. Now I am going to handle this exception. How we can handle? So by catching with the help of try block. So what is the exception it is giving? Empty result data access exception. So just empty result data accept exception I just thrown. So here you have to throw your custom user defined exceptions. You have to throw custom user defined exceptions. Now I am going to show you how to write custom exception class. Now how to write custom exception class? Let me write. So let's say what is this case? Employee not found, right? Employee not found. So what I'm going to create, what I'm going to throw, THROW, throw employee new employee employee not found exception. We have to throw employee not found exception. So where is this class available? This class is not available. So what we need to do? We have to create it. We have to create it. You can see the moment you put cursor here, it is giving hint, create the class employee not found exception. Let me create it. Okay, or how we can create another way also there, how we can create. So before creating this class, let me create the package. So we can create package also by clicking on, you can right click on this source folder, Java source folder, root package of your project. This is the root project, right click and new and click on package, and then you can create a separate package to create your exception classes, right? So this is one more way to do that. Another way, you can put it here, cursor, write your employee class, sorry, customized user exception class name, and then put cursor here. It will show you employee not found cannot be resolved to a type. That means this class is not available. So what you have to do? You have to create. There is a create class. Just click on that. Once you click on that, it will open. So I want to create in not in repository package. Where I want to create exception package excepti1 exception excepti1. Okay, inside the exception package, I am going to create exception class. Exception, you can see class name employee here, employee not found exception. So if you want to handle the exception in runtime, so when this exception is going to happen during the runtime, right? So whenever the very important interview question, so many people will ask you how you are going to write customized user defined exceptions. So some people will tell exception class that extends exception or runtime exception. So some people cannot answer why you are extending runtime exception. So why runtime? Because this exception, when it came during the runtime, you are executing your API. During the runtime, this exception is thrown. So always runtime exceptions you have to handle with runtime exception class. So for that purpose, I am going to extend runtime exception. You can see there is a runtime exception. You can see, right, runtime exception. Just click on that runtime exception and then click finish button. So you can see employee class employee not found exception is created. Some people do, sir, this is looks like this is for me difficult, so I don't want to create in this way. Another way how you can create, let me delete this. How you can create another way? You just need to right click on the exception package and then go to new and create class, and then write your employee not found exception employee not found exception. This is, we are going to create our customized user defined exception class. So what it is going to extend? So let me finish. So if you want to extend, so whenever this is standard by guys, okay, standard programming. So whenever you are going to write custom user defined exception, you are during the runtime, whenever you are going to handle your runtime exceptions, your class must extend your class must extend runtime exception. What is that? Runtime. This is another way to create your exception class. Right click and create the class. So I have created successfully. So what it is saying, serializable. Let me create generated. The warning. Why? Because runtime exception needs some unique serial version ID. Okay. Let me create. So now even if you don't create also no problem. This is optional only. Okay. So now, so what you can do now? So we need to throw custom user defined exceptions. How we can throw? We have to write one constructor. We have to create constructor. How to create constructor? Public, and then your class name default constructor. So then what we need to pass some message, right? Employee not found or something like that. So for that you have to pass string message, and then here, so see runtime exception. If you go runtime exception, so this is a runtime exception is available in which package, guys? There is a java.long package. Okay, inside that, so the runtime exception is having constructor. What is that? This is constructor, default constructor, and it is having parameterized constructor also. You can see parameterized constructor as well. So if you want to display any custom user defined exception, you can use this parameterized constructor of runtime exception. So what it is expecting? Runtime exception, parameterized runtime exception, it is expecting string argument to send the data. So whatever message we are going to pass, so runtime execution will throw that message back to the client. So that is the reason what I am doing. This constructor is from where? This constructor is from superclass. Superclass is nothing but runtime exception. So that's the reason I am calling super. How you can call superclass constructor? So this is runtime exception is a runtime exception which is having argument. This is constructor of runtime exception. This runtime exception I have extended for employee not found exception. So whenever you extends, this class is super class for employee not found exception. This class is super class for specific employee not found exception. So I am going to invoke who is throwing runtime exception here, who is throwing runtime exception based on runtime exception class. So that's the reason I'm calling super class constructor of runtime exception. So what it is expecting? Message, message, message. That's it. So what does it mean? Inside your custom user defined constructor, you are calling super class constructor of runtime exception class. So super of message. That's it. So now your exception is your class is ready now. Now go there. So how you just need to import it. Control Shift to O. What you have to do? Control Shift to O. So it is expecting message, right? So let me, as of now, let me. This is my Eclipse again throwing. So where I can copy. Let me copy. So whenever I'm typing again, it is giving me ADB somewhere. So from here I will copy this string argument. This is my laptop is problem. You no need to bother about it. Okay. So let me go to employee service IMPL. Sorry, custom KDBC repository. From here, I just need to paste it the string object. So here, what you need to pass? Let me pass uh, user not found. Sorry, employee not found. Employee not found. So I want to display that ID also. So I want to display who is the employee who is not available. Let me give is that employee ID only. Later will change employee ID. Okay, employee ID. I'm just passing employee ID. So why this is giving error? We need to import it, right? How you can import? Control Shift O. So after that, so we have to create employee one cannot be resolved to a type. Still it is not invoking. Why? Let me check. So employee not found exception we have created, right? Employee not found. Let me type manually. We'll see whether it will show or not. employee, yeah, now it is showing employee not found exception. That's it. So that is Eclipse problem. You don't worry. Okay. So just what you have to do whenever this kind of issues, if you found, what you have to do, just type new employee. Whenever you are creating new employee, it is not still loaded in main memory. So just control space, just put control space. It will show you employee not found exception. Just click on it. After that, you just pass whatever you need. Okay. So inside that, I want to just display ID, okay, along with that message. So that's it. So now still it is giving error. Why? Let me check. So ID, why this giving error? Let me check. Here it is throwing something. This is by mistake. It is imported. So there is a employee not found is available in Spring JDBC repository. So this is not imported properly earlier. So let me delete that. So now we have imported successfully. So now what we can do, our application is ready now. So whenever you are throwing this exception, where it will go, so let's try this. What will happen now? What will happen now? Let's try. So you should know. So I am not handling in service layer. Service layer, I did not handle anything. So what I have handled here inside JPA repository only, I just handle the exception. So let me start the server. We'll see what will happen in that case. So server started successfully. Let me go to browser. So let me find employee 3. So you can see, right? See, employee not found exception. You can see earlier it is not there. So now it is showing employee not found exception. Lot of so okay, let me show you. So what is the error code? 500. Still it is throwing internal server error. Still it is throwing internal server error and employee not found. So what you have to do whenever internal server error, nothing but it is any type of error, any error. But we are expecting employee not found. So employee not found in the sense 404. Error code should be 404. If you open REST API, this template I already shared with you. You can see HTTP status codes I have shared with you. You can see if it is success 200, if it is created 201, if bad request 400, unauthorized 401. So you forget about it, this one. The moment we are going to create real-time application, that time I will explain you these things. So now what is happening? So if you see 40 not found, what is that? Not found. So whenever we are finding specific employee who is not there in database, we have to throw specific error codes. What is that? 404. This code indicates that the requested resource is not found at the location specified in the request. So that means whenever you are invoking this request along with employee number 3, which is not available in database, that time it will return 404. So right, 404. We should return 404. So we should what we can do now? So go to your user defined exception class. So there is a annotation. What is that annotation? Still it is giving shift at the rate. It is giving string only. Let me copy. So there is a annotation available in Springboard. You can see you can import that. So let me copy this at the rate, guys. So okay. So employee not found. Here you just need to at the rate response code. There is a response status. You can see the response res HTTP response status. You can see response status, right? There is annotation response status. So as part of this annotation, you have to declare with your custom user defined exception class. So on top of custom user defined exception class, you have to declare at the rate response status, and then there is a value called code is equal, there is a request method, right? HTTP HTTP status dot. So you can see see, you can see bad request, bad gateway. You might saw whenever you are sending invalid JSON, that time you saw bad request. Similarly, this HTTP status class is having enum class having a number of HTTP response. We can see error messages. So what in this case, what we need to return, not found. So there is a, you can see there is a constant called not underscore found. That's it. So HTTP, you can go to HTTP, click on this HTTP. If you click on this HTTP enum class, this is a enum class, okay? So if you click on this HTTP predefined, you can see number of methods are available here. If you go inside, number of error codes 300, 301, 302. So if you want to learn if you want to learn each error codes related to what kind of error, you can go inside this class. You can read 305 nothing but use proxy, 304 nothing but not modified, 3330 nothing but see other. So what we are searching now, 404. Let me search 404. You can see what is the 404? Not found. You can see 404 nothing but not found. Client error. We are going to return client as a 404 error not found. So okay. So in employee not found exception class, we need to specify at the rate response status following with the code equal code attribute, and you need to pass specific error message which you want to return. That's it. Now let me go to the browser. So before that, what is the error code now? 500. So 500. So now what you should return 405. Sorry, 404. What you have to return? 404. So 404 nothing but, you can go to this document which I shared earlier. 404 nothing but not found. Whenever you are requesting particular resource, if it is not available in database, what is the HTTP request error code you have to return? 404. 404 nothing but not found. See now, not found. So there is so many error. It is showing in detail error. I don't want to see this in detail error. So how to do that? I don't want to see this in detail error. So this is giving by, so they in pom.xml, go to your pom.xml. You have to make it note, guys. Whenever I am telling something, you have to keep book beside you and make it note all the points. So here I want to disable this dev tools. Let me disable this dev tool dependency. I will tell you why I am deleting this. Okay. So I just commented out dev tools part. So now what will happen now? Let me send the request again. You can see still employee. So what happened? Bad request, callable SQL grammar error. Let me see if you return that, if you remove that dependency, what it is showing, internal server error 500. Let me check why. So we just send the request. Instead of that, what error it is returning? SQL query employee not found. Let me stop the server because we have removed the dependency, right? So let me try restart the server. Okay. So the moment we commented out string dev tools, we must start the server manually. Okay. So let me start. So build issue came. So what you have to do in that time, you just need to right click on the project, go to Maven, then click on object. Whenever you are facing that time that issues, just right click on the project, click on Maven and select update Maven project and click on force update. That's it. Click OK. So what will happen? So build will happen properly now. So now let me, so from where you can run, so this is the main application. From here you can run your Spring Boot application, run your Java application. So now application started successfully. Let me invoke this API. See, when I invoking this API, it is throwing only not found exception. Earlier, it is sharing lot of lines of code, right? So that is because of this dependency. What is the dependency? Spring Dev tool dependency. So the dependency is not, so when you are deploying your production, this dependency is not needed. This is only for developer uh, dependency to restart. Without restarting the server, your changes will reflect in your Tomcat server. For that purpose only this dependency needed for us. So after commenting it out, you can see it is throwing proper message. So not found. What is that? 404 in the sense not found, right? So now go to your if you observe, guys, what is this exception is clearly returning? This application has no explicit mapping because not found. The URL which you are in requesting to the server, this employee is not available in database. If you return search for one also not available. What I will do for the time being, I will create one employee. Okay, so let me create one employee. Sachin, I am creating the employee. So, okay, now employee one is available, right? So let me go to the browser. Employee one. See, employee one. Why it is not returning? So because I haven't written the value in JDBC template. You can see I am just returning null. That's the reason it is not returning any value. It is not returning any value. So what you have to do? You should return employee object, right? So for that you have to write employee. So you have to create employee local variable and then you have to assign that variable to your method. Then this value you have to return as a return statement. That's it. Control Shift F. It will rearrange properly. So now you can see. So employee object. So whenever there is no there is a employee specific employee is available, it will not throw exception. If there is employee available, it will not throw exception. It will return your employee object. So now let me stop the server and let me start the server again because I have commented that DevTools uh, dependency, right? So now go to browser and search. You can see employee. So the moment I restarted, my data is lost, right? So again, I need to create. Once I restarted, I have to create again. So employee is created now. Employee one is created. So now let me find. You can see employee one is available in H2 database. Let me open database and show you admin and connect it. So go to employee, click on that employee table and run. So Sachin Tendulkar is available. Since Sachin Tendulkar is available, uh, it is returning the results. So now I will try to search for two. What will happen? It is returning not found. So now I want to show some custom message. So like this custom like this you have to show custom user defined exception to consumer or end user or client. This is how, see, if you return, if you query like this from the browser, right? I have requested from the browser. So it is returning JSP. It is returning JSP. When I am requesting from browser, server is responding with JSP saying that not found. So what will happen if I send from postman? We'll see now. What will happen from postman if I invoke? Let me check. Go to your postman, click on that, and then what is that method? Get API, right? So now just send the request. See what it is returning. Your postman is returning JSON. So if you observe this guy, Spring Boot is having lot of features. You no need to, you have not written logic, right? So when it is you have sent request from browser, it is returning JSP, white label error page JSP, it is returning. So when you are sending request from the postman, it is throwing JSON along with the proper message details. You can see not found, 404 not found, and timestamp and status is 404 in the sense nothing but not found, and the message which we have declared not found. So Spring Boot is having a lot of features. So whenever your get API is returning always JSP, whenever there is an exception, get API is returning JSP. So when you if you try from the browser, right, if you try from the browser, it will return always JSP. If you try from the REST client, any REST client or Postman or Calendar, anything, anywhere you can try, it will return proper JSON structure with respective error message and code. Okay, so this is how we have to handle user defined exception. So there, now this we have written, right? So now you may have doubts, sir, what will happen now if is there any 500 errors? So this will always throw 404, right? So how to throw that 500 error, I will show you tomorrow. Okay, we will handle that. We'll handle that from tomorrow. Okay, so it's already 17:11, 5:11, right? Okay, guys, you have to make sure you guys are practicing every day. I will share you the source code. Okay, I will share you the source code, guys. So you have to practice every day. If you don't practice, you can't learn anything. Okay,